All right. Enough of this chitter chatter. Time to go live. Unicorn section. Do a video reviewing ARE tanks. Reviewing our tanks. Think it would be neat. I don't know what you're talking about, Chris. ARE tanks. Reviewing our tanks. What does that even mean? Fish ate all your plants. Well, I guess you fed them the wrong plants. Mr. Bombastic, hello, hello. Good to see you. Oh, Vibes, hi Vibes, nice to see you. Vibes, you had a woman on with you on your live stream 2 weeks ago, and I never figured out who she was. Could you post her name or her channel? Would be preferable, I guess. Napoleon, hello, hello. Mario Velasco. Barre Pescado, what's up? How are you? How are you, Mario? Gary Stein can't hear me. That's odd. Can anybody else hear me? Turn up the volume. You know what? That's a funny thing. It's on. I got it all the way up. Okay, I'm gonna automatically adjust. Maybe I wonder. Testing, 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 testing. I don't know. That doesn't do anything. Testing, 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 testing. Well, that didn't help. Testing, 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 testing. I don't know what these knobs do, if anything. I'm halfway, let's see. I never figured this silly mic out. See if that's better. Is that better? I don't think it's any better. There's something strange. I don't know what the problem is. I now have it on the automatic volume. Ash says he hears me. Is it okay now? Maybe it was too far from it. Let me get it closer to me. I was kind of sitting back and it was way off in front of me. Let's see. Is that better? Loud and clear in Hawaii. Oh, that's good. Rodrigo Rivera. It was fine before, he says. Well, how is it now? Martin says it's okay now. Rodrigo, I need to give you a wrench. Got it. Martin, need to give you a wrench. Wrong one. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, but that would do. Evan Anderson. What state do I live in? The state of obtusiveness. Maryland is where I live. Whoa, I didn't want to do that. Who is that? Evan Anderson. I live in Maryland. Let me do this again. Add moderator, Evan. There. Martin. We've already got one. Okay. We're getting there. And Rodrigo. And Leo Vaccaro says I'm loud and clear. Good thing, too. Hooah! Billy Bob! Little quiet and a bit fuzzy. Well, nature of the beast. I was born that way. A little quiet, a little quiet, a little quiet, and a bit fuzzy. Rodrigo Rivero says they hear us fine, whoever they are. Cornwall. Somebody got timed out. I don't know. Is 25 by 25 by 25 25 what? Frigafara. 25 what? 25 micrometers? 25 feet? 25 inches? Better when I shift to my front left. Oh, yeah. Oh, well. The Recon Gamer 123 hears me just fine. Thank you very much. And we'll do a wrench. And Shaq says it's not me. Good thing. If it were me, we'd be all in trouble. Okay, so I got lots of wrenches out. Is here. Paul Cohen is here. Keith Hawks says we sound fine. And if Keith says we sound fine, we will not be concerned at all about it. Great, says Shaq. Kids TV show, how to get my fish tank in a state where I don't have to feed it myself. It depends entirely on the fish you have, the size of the tank, the nature of the food web. There are a lot of lots of variables. Lots of variables. You need to take care of the variables. Roger, Reggie. That's what it is. Reggie, who I just lost. Doug Gatlin. Where's your shop, Father Fish? It's online. My shop is online. And the link will be posted shortly, I'm sure. New House Lock and Key. Posted a picture of a red worm in your resurrection jar on the Facebook group. Turns out it was a midge-fly larvae. That's right, those little wiggly red worms are midge-fly larvae. David Anati. Thanks for your help on Discord with my Panda Cory issues. They can be difficult. Wild Bawden Angel can be territorial and nasty, says Paul Cohen. Lee Wilcox is here. Hello, Lee Wilcox, living in a right old state. Maryland, yes it is. Wild Bawden. My angel fish fight a lot. Why is that? Well, it's a sex thing. Males will fight over females, and pairs will act like they're fighting, but They're really not. The Recon Gamer, we're in Maryland, love to come visit the shop. That'd be a good trick because I do not have a shop. I live in Salisbury, Recon. Salisbury on the Eastern Shore. I did live in Florida. I was in Florida for 32 years. 32 long years. I was in Florida. And then I finally moved back home. Ash Hamdard, Buick KPP sent $10 and a message that says, Father Fish, I really appreciate you sharing all your knowledge with us. Now, where did he do that? Not here. I didn't see it. Ash was, where was that? Buick KP. Kathy Kelly from Australia. Nice to see you, Kathy. Dooby-doo, Kevin Rooney. Well, Kevin is from France. Hello, Kevin from France. Bonjour, monsieur. Comment ça va? Wild Bawden. I think I did Walled, not Wild. Walled? Wallet? Waled Bowden. Rigafara. He never answered the 25 what. Dooby-doo. It's scrolling down here. Slippy Joe. Know you have the same tank for 10 to 15 years. Have you had any leaks? This tank back here, it's 20. I've had it set up for 22 years. No, it's never had a leak. But then there's hardly any pressure. It's only 12 inches tall. So not likely to ever leak. It'll break before it does. May have to say, just let them fight. They ain't gonna hurt each other. I've never seen angels even really nip fins. Kelly Phillips, love your videos. Watching from Kentucky. Getting my tank started actually the way you told me. My family has a farm here locally, and I'm using water from there with the living plants. Bravo, Kelly. Good job. And Kelly gets a wrench. Ooh, Darren. Just ordered mix to 25 in Maine. 125. Oh, first Father Fish tank. Bravo, Darren. Good job. That'll be nice. Make sure you get on the Father Fish Shoal, the Discord channel. I should post a link to it, I guess. Let me see if I can do that. Right there. Invite. Edit link. Never expire. And here we are. This is the link to the Father Fish Shoal. So if you don't have that, you do now. Get over there and sign up. Jane Nick, my sister, bought some land with a large pond, which seems never to have been set up or managed properly. I cannot see any fish or plants in it. I want to improve the ecology of it. Any suggestions? Oh, lots. But I need to see it and know more about it. Get over on Discord. Get out there and take some pictures. Let's look at it and we'll design a plan for it. Need to know what the relative depth is, where it's shallow, where it's deep, what the size and acreage is, what the shape is, all of that sort of stuff. All right, now what is this? Willy Mondo 7. I thought I had, spring peepers from this year brought in from the pond. But they look like they're going to end up Rana since they've gotten way too big to be Hyla. Spring peepers are tiny little frog. It's the one you hear chirping by your window. Tweet, 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 tweet. Like that. Tweet, tweet, tweet. That's a spring peeper. Peep, peep, peep. Right. And they're little guys. A little PB, Father Fish. I got my gravel aquarium, but I'm growing algae and my plants aren't growing. Help! Well, put some, it's possible that your gravel doesn't yet have enough nutrient in it. Put some floating plants in. If you had stem plants, let them float for a while till they develop some roots. Just give it time, it'll happen. Don't worry about it. Put some more plants in. They may be slow getting started, but they surely will get started. J. Nick, about the land your sister bought. Oh, Walid Boden is from Tanzania. It's a lot, though, and from Tanzania. Wow, nice. My fish are quite well behaved, says SJC. Only one zebra danio that acts up and chases the other fish. Well, now, how much harm can a zebra danio do? Atanas Ritsasov. Hello from Bulgaria. Hello, Atanas. Lord, I've been eating mints and it's hit my stomach. Ugh. And I'm getting queasy. What's Lee saying? Oh, yeah, he says, Darren, you're going to be blown away by the results. I've been doing it the Father Fish way for 5 years now. Lee was one of the first people I really met and helped way back when. Before I even understood anything about YouTube. When I was learning how to answer comments. I found his comment on one of my streams begging for somebody to help him. Apparently he had been sending out SOS for days or weeks because his goldfish was not well. So we got Precious Tranquility involved, otherwise known these days as Good Mother. And we developed a game plan. There was no saving the fish, but we did make it comfortable. And then we looked at his main tank, and by golly, it was a dirted tank. Now, mind you, it was a dirted tank. That is to say, it was dirt in the tank. Dirt, dirt, and only dirt. It was doing pretty well, but it was a dirt tank. So we simply recommended an inch or two of sand on top of the dirt, which he did forthwith. And since then, has had the most magnificent time of all. At one point, Lee went on a poop patrol. We were talking about how fish are able to sustain themselves, little fish in tanks, by finding microfauna and feeding on it to such a degree that they are able to survive and even thrive. Microfauna and microalgae. He did, I think it was a 6 month poop patrol where he fed no food at all. Now, there was a caveat. I saw him one day sneakily feeding red worms, bloodworms, or black worms to his little dwarf pygmy frogs. And that was fair because they were never going to find food microscopically to eat. But nobody else got anything. And he checked to make sure they were pooping every day. And indeed they were, which means they were eating every day. That served as one of the very first proofs of the premise that our fish eat well whether we feed them or not. Not all, but those that are small enough to benefit from a food web. Ooh, doctors, hi from DRS. Hi from England. Can you recommend a suitable size tank for a beginner to set up? 20 gallon. What would that be? A 20 gallon is suitable because you can keep most anything in it. That would be how many liters? I don't know. How many liters in a gallon? 2? 40 liter? Crystal clear. Just joined Discord. Of 3 fatherfish aquariums set up last year. All doing great. My question to you is on your 22-year-old. Do you have wood in it? If so, what type? I do have a little wood in it. And I don't know what type. I've got, probably can't even see it. I think it's still in here. I'm looking and oh, it's, well, I don't see it. I don't think I took it out. It's not floating. It was back there somewhere. I have just one piece of driftwood. Not a big piece. It's like so. And I don't see it. I got so many plants. Yeah, I do see it. It's in the back. You can't see it. It's behind all the plants. What's that floating? Oh, there's a piece of driftwood floating. Stan Pittman set up 2 more today. 2 more what? Oh, a bowl. 2.5 gallon bowl. Nice. Vesna E75. Welcome, welcome. We need to give you a wrench. Bang. 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 You got a wrench. Is real spell check got me? Probably. And the drunk. Roughly 4 liters to a gallon. So that'd be 80 liters. What's depending on what side of the pond you live on. 75 liters, Evan says. There you go. That's an optimal size tank. Now they come here in the US, they come long 36 inches or 30 inches, and they come tall 24 inches. I think it's 24 and 30. Either are good. I prefer the tall. I think they just look better. I got one over there, but you can't see it. I just gave one away to a niece yesterday. My brother gave it to me and I gave it to her. So they've been wanting a tank. Oh dear. Why did somebody put Aga Deutsch so in timeout or whatever. Gonna make him a moderator. August says starting to spread fatherfish word here in Portugal. JW, how are my discus doing? Got 2 and a 125 with an inch of dirt, 3 to 4 inches of sand. I moved them today. I moved them to my top tank where the crivies were. I pulled all the plants out of it yesterday, got it thoroughly stirred up because I found there were cory catfish in there, and I'm watching one right now. I thought I got them both. I only got one. Um, I I I think they were eating the baby crebensis because there were not many, and they were getting thinner and thinner. I caught one. I got to get the other cory out of there. Then I need to replant that. I'll probably do that tomorrow. Anyway, I moved them up to the top tank. I think it's a better aged tank. So we'll see how they do. It's got more tannins in it. We'll show you some. We'll do a tour of the tanks a little later. Hello, somebody blocked someone who had a good comment. I don't think it was blocked. I don't know what happened. Agadoiso is their text came up funny. Well, I don't know if it means anything. Wow. JTT are 150 gallon with 1,000 rasbora. Amazing. What kind of rasbora? Hats. My favorite are the hats. Rasbora hat. Oh, there it is. No, that's somebody else. That's that. Joriali Cabrero. Buenas noches, Father Fish. Jenny, hello. Jenny. Carrie Kuntz, found you a week ago. Had 3 revival jars. I love it. Revival jars. That's good. That's good. ZZ. 40 gallon breeder or 75 are best for small tanks. I don't call those small tanks, easy. Yeah, what is a large tank for you? If that's a little one, your big ones are gotta be 2 to 500. How can you help give out wrenches? That's a good question. I don't know if you can. Click on the 3 dots on the right side of the column, right click, no, left click on the 3 dots. If it says at the bottom, if it says set as standard moderator, you can. I don't know. I don't know that you can. Check it and see. Paul Cohen. I'm so excited. So much life in my new tank. My rabbit snail as a baby, and what if really one of my fishes had babies? Now, if I only could get my shrimp to breed. Your rabbit snail had a baby. Mine have never had. I've had rabbit snails for a year. I ain't never seen a baby. Never, not once, ever, never. Jana Reeves. Hello, Jana Reeves. And give Jana a wrench. Leo Vaccaro. Only I can mod people. I think there's another mod. Ilyuta. Hello, Ilyuta. Ricky. Incredible. It can start now. You're back. We've been started and halfway through, Ricky. Didn't miss you for a minute. We've only been here. Well, we've been here half an hour, truthfully. No video feed. Whoa. Really? Oh, honest to God. Ta-da! We're back. All right, I'm gonna put the switch where I won't step on it again. John Cheatham from Britain. Give you a wrench. Gamer One. Hello, Gamer One. No sound. No sound. Can hear now. Still image. Okay, we ought to be all back now. Tripped and fell in the tank. There's a song about that. Golly, that would be fun. We need to find this song. Caleb Taylor. Okay, we're back. I didn't know if you can see me yet. Let's see. Yes, we're good. Billy Bob Blogs says Scott Stevenson. Good evening, Father Fish. Coming across your channel is a true joy. That's lovely. I was aquarium keeping in the 70s to 90s using the same logic that you are so wonderfully passing on to our new enthusiasts. God bless. Well, God bless you too. Ricky wants to know what's going on. Somebody want to fill him in? Robin Beasley, I see your comments. Hello, Robin. Robin is green because Robin is a member in good standing of the Fatherfish YouTube channel. Ilyuta says, Fatherfish, I have a tank in which there is a lot of muck. I added sand 3 to 4 times by now, half an inch or so, and the sand is already more than 3 inches deep in a 15-gallon tank. What should I do? Add yet more sand? It's still muck after adding 3 inches of sand, and it's still muck. Well, I don't know, Ilguta. If you had 6 inches of muck, sand is more than 3 inches deep. But it's still mucky. You can do one of two things, actually 3, Ilguta. You can just walk away from it, plant a lot of plants, clean it out, dump it, and start over, or keep adding sand. Any of which are good options. You might consider doing them all. Well, you can't do them all. You can do 2 of the 3, but not any 2 of the 3. Only 2 of the 3. What would I do in a 150-gallon setup? What would I do in a 150-gallon setup? Well, what would I do? I would get some big fish. I would load it up with rock. I would put 2 inches of dirt, 6 inches of sand, load it with rock. Chris just sent me a bag of rock, a box of rock, 40 pounds of rock, 2 for rock, I think, from Texas. But I haven't opened the box yet, but I'm looking forward to that. Load it with rock. And then put a half a dozen to a dozen big sword plants in it. 3 or 4 different types of sword plants. And then put I think what I would put in it would be some of the larger Tanganyika cichlids. I'm just absolutely fascinated by them. And you can do them in colony in a tank that big and have a series of colonies. They get 2 to 6 inches. So on a 150, if you have 4 of 4 different species, they will colony off and will actually spawn and raise their fry. That would be a magnificent tank. That's what I would do. In the bushes is gonna overhaul his 55-gallon tank. How do you recommend I do this for low maintenance? I recommend you join us on the Fatherfish Shoal and learn all about it. Link has been posted. Somebody please post it one more time for Caleb. No, for In the Bushes. Robin can, yes, we do see your comment. Thank you, Ash. Hello, Doom Pie. Hello, Orcus. Pool sand. Pool sand is probably the nicest sand you can use. No, I've only heard one comment that disagrees with that. Somebody bought some pool sand somewhere out west, and it was dirty, which just really did not make any sense at all to me. Because pool sand is sold to be used in sand filters, and for it to be effective, it ought to be clean. I mean, why would you put dirty sand in a swimming pool filter and run the risk of turning the pool dirty? I don't get that. But anyway, generally pool sand is just perfect. The only thing better is sand dune sand, which is has the added benefit of actually having nutrients in it. So when you get it in the tank, you can actually begin to grow plants in it. That works best with very old sand dunes, like desert sand dunes, or sand dunes on a sandy beach, like down here at Acetate, where it's against the law to take the sand. Vesna uses kitty sandbox sand. It's okay. It got a lot of clay in it. It's pretty dusty. You can't really pour it through the tank unless you rinse it a lot first. But if you put it in the tank dry and then put a plate or a plastic bag or something over it when you fill it so you don't stir it up, it's actually really excellent sand because all of that clay adds nutrients to the substrate. So it's really a good way to go. Michael Mitchell, thank you, Michael. Give Michael a wrench. There is, I think, a managing moderator can do. I'll look into that. I might be able to program it. XIO, hi there. XIO gets a wrench. Probable cause clause. Hello, hello. Has there ever been a time when you wanted to give the fish keeping hobby up? I want to give it up from time to time. It's time consuming, and other times I'm glad I didn't. You know what? The fish keeping hobby. I do not believe there has ever been a time when I wanted to give it up. There have been a number of times when I wanted to have more tanks than I had, and there have been a few times when I did not have any. Not many, mind you, but there have been a few. I'm trying to remember, I had tanks in elementary school, junior high, high school, had tanks in college, had tanks in my first job, my first ministry, had tanks in my second one, in my third one, in my fourth one. I had tanks when I moved to Florida. I don't think there's been a period of time longer than maybe a month or two in my entire life where I have not had fish tanks. And I always want more than I have. That was one of the reasons I did the fish store. So I could have all the tanks I could possibly ever want. And I did. I had more than 400 tanks, including a large number of section tanks, the acrylic section tanks. I had probably 60 feet or more of those, and that was 2 and 3 tiers, mostly 2 tiers. A few were 3 tiers. So they would have been another couple of hundred. The largest tank I had was 500 gallons. And then I put 2 big pools in that were 1,000-gallon pools. They were 10 foot wide and I think they were 3 foot tall. And I kind of got over it. I kind of did. I got over the desire to have every fish in the world. I had saltwater and freshwater. And I did them all. I mean, I salt and fresh, I did them all. Even ones I couldn't afford, I did. I did a lot of cool stuff. I did that for nearly 20 years. It was a long haul. And I finally gave it up because I couldn't take care of it anymore. And it was kind of on a downhill skid. And the people who had been interested in buying it, two of them passed away. They died before they could do it. And the third one, well, I wound up giving them a lot of stuff when I broke it down. I don't think they ever did anything. I think they wound up selling it. I saw some of those tanks show up on a Facebook video not long ago. Anyway, no, I don't think there's ever been a time when I wanted to quit the hobby. It has been a source of fascination for me for absolutely my entire life. Absolutely. And I really don't think there's been a period of time longer than 1 month that I've been without a tank. Maybe not even. I mean, I can't think of a time when I was without a tank, but probably when I was in college, because I moved around hither to yon. But I did have tanks there. In graduate school, I absolutely did. The whole time. Pool sand, had to wash it, really. That's odd. Jay Nick. Yeah, I've only heard that once or twice. Seems odd to me. Fish and Outdoors with Lando. One of my Father Fish merch. Do you like the shirt? Gotta look at the shirt. My camera is perverted. It won't. There it is. That's better. Look at that. Jenny is our t-shirt master. She's making these t-shirts. Fatherfish 1. 1 or 01? 1. Fatherfish 1 will get you there. Fatherfish1.net. Is that what it is? Yeah, I think. Fatherfish1.net. We do have a website that's going to be up shortly. It's called fatherfish.fish. Fatherfish.fish. It will be online. It'll be a website. So we'll be doing blogs and links and all sorts of other stuff. Well, I managed to pull it out. I have such a hard time moving this thing. Is that better? sort of. I have to rinse my Quickcrete pool sand. Yeah, well, I guess. Yeah, Quickcrete's another one. Concrete sand is pretty dirty. The very best sand is sand dune sand. If you can get to a beach or a creek or a stream that has a sand bed, many do. That sand is absolutely perfect. Take it wet, get it out of the creek, and put it in the tank, and it'll be live sand. And we just can't be better. Do I think there are plecos that eat wood? Lazar. Yes, there absolutely are. In fact, little known story. In the Amazon, during the rainy season, when the forest floods, the discus will come up to a catch of typically a fallen tree where there are lots of limbs around. And they will nest in and among those branches. At the same time, a specific species of Plecostomus will nest on that same tree, and you'll always find them together. You'll always find plecos and discus, but it'll be a function of the species of the tree as to which pleco is there. I don't think that is true of the discus, but it is of the pleco. There are certain trees that that have collapsed that they gnaw on that they prefer. And in point of fact, there are species of pleco that will die for the lack of wood to eat. So it's critical, not all species, but some. And no, I don't know which one. Abadoo. Post pics to members channel ultimate news. Whatever that is all about, I don't know. Post pics to members channel. A follower from the other side of the world, from the kingdom of Saudi Arabia, specifically Galili Q. Galili Q. Delighted to have you here. Ultimate noob. And he placed a post aquarium progress pics in the Fatherfish Discord. Oh, that's what it was. And Abadoo is right on. There is a channel that you can designate a sub-channel as your own. And only you have the right to post on that channel. But you can post your own aquarium, like post a picture every day, post a problem. You can invite people in to help you deal with it, or to celebrate it, or to learn how brilliant you are. It's a wonderful tool to be able to document what you're doing, and you run the ever-present risk of having your picture show up on a Fatherfish video with designation, of course. We always give credit where credit is due. But yeah, absolutely, absolutely true. And it's wonderful. What is made by, what are we doing now? We're doing CChem. Here we go. Skipper. Fishing Outdoors is talking about Skipper. We're not allowed to post links here, guys. Gareth Mayer, fan from Ireland. My hardness is reading 0. Is that bad? I would say so. The local fish shop blamed that. I blame it for using rainwater. For the reason the fish sold me died, but my tank had no problems before that. Well, if your hardness is 0, there's an ever-loving chance your pH is 6.0 or less. And if the fish you bought came out of hard alkaline water and you put them directly into your tank, that would kill them pretty quick, just that alone. Hardness of 0 is dangerous. You need to do something about that. How is it 0? Where do you get your water from, Gareth? That's very odd. Oh, here we go. They're talking about blue-green algae. What do you recommend to do when you got blue-green algae? Andrew Vogan. And somebody decided to put a toxin in the tank, apparently. Except the comment, apparently, I don't see. I put sand from a creek in my tank and got real dirty. So I have to wait long before it settles. Usually a day, 1 or 2 days. Lazar, yes. They clean up the decaying wood. Absolutely right. I don't know what all that's about. Um, I would really prefer that no products be posted on the live stream because most products, particularly chemical type products, are toxins. And I have a very strong aversion to using any toxins in the tank. We're trying to teach people to maintain their tanks naturally, not with a lot of chemicals. So even something like algae, which really never requires any action at all because it's a perfectly normal condition that can be easily rectified by the addition of plants. Add more plants to the tank and the algae will disappear. Do not use algicides. They are fishicides. They're toxins and they poison the tank. That's what they do. That's their function, to poison the tank. So don't use them. Caleb is saying, Sage, you should be adding leaves to your tank, especially leaves that have fallen in local waterways. So that's right. Absolutely right. Need to give Soggy a wrench here. Joseph Griffin. Hello, Joseph. Where'd he go? Maroosman. Did I aquascape the aquarium behind me? In a matter of speaking, I'm working at it. I'm working at it. It's a work in progress. Oh, there are some things that need to come out. This valve needs to come out on both sides. I've got the center pretty solid with red plants. So I'm kind of moving in both directions now. I'm probably going to do, I don't know. I haven't decided. I keep ordering plants every week to see what I like. Waited over 2 days for my creek sand to clear up and it didn't. You may need a sponge filter to help out with that process. I find it's really an enormous help. Tried to create an account on Discord. When I tried to put in the code, it became blocked. Well, try it again. I don't know. It may have been an old code. I think the one, I could do another one. Let me do another one. Easy enough to do. I got it right here. Right here. This one will be good. George Saris. Can fish tuberculosis transmit to humans? Read an article these days. 2 baby guppies with 2 bent spines. A red is a sign of the disease. I keep guppies. Thanks for your time. George, I've been around fish my entire life. Been around fish keepers my entire life. Never heard of anyone contracting tuberculosis from a fish tank. Point of fact, I've never heard of anyone contracting tuberculosis at all. It's a virtually non-existent disease. I know it's still out there, but it is most uncommon, and most especially uncommon among fish keepers. Bent spine is not a sign of tuberculosis. Bent spine is most commonly a sign of bad genetics. Has nothing to do with tuberculosis, particularly if it's baby fish. Baby fish with a bent spine does not have tuberculosis. It has a genetic defect. Don't get yourself in a tizzy, a lather, over becoming diseased from your fish tank. Unless you're maintaining a uniquely foul tank. And there are those who do that. We mitigate against that as much as is possible. Nevertheless, it persists. So, we persist in mitigating against foul tanks. Those are the tanks that require weekly water changes, mind you. Get into a brouhaha with discus breeders who insist on doing weekly water changes. It's a good way to kill discus. A very good way to kill discus. Water changes, routine water changes, are a very good way to kill fish. And it won't happen the first time, or the 10th time, or the 50th time, but it will happen the 100th time. At some point in your water changing career, you're going to kill every fish in the tank. It is bound to happen. And there's really no need for it. If you're going to do a water change, never change more than 10%. 10%. Think about rain. If it rains 1 inch and the pond is 6 feet deep, how much rain, percentage-wise, has fallen into that pond? 1/72. That's less than 2%. Less than 2%. 1.5%. That's an inch of rain. So if you change 10 gallons in a 50-gallon tank, that's 20 gallons. 10%. 10%, that would be 5 gallons in a 50-gallon tank. 10%. You want to change 10%. You can do it every day. If you insist on doing water changes, change 10% every day. In fact, you can do it twice a day. Do it in the morning and do it in the evening. And you will not kill your fish. You'll drive yourself crazy, but you won't kill your fish. You may ruin your back from lugging buckets. You may run the water bill up, impossibly, but you won't kill your fish. Even if there is chlorine in the water, you won't kill your fish. Even if there is chloramine in the water, you won't kill your fish. 10%. No more than 10%. We had a big rainstorm the other day. There was 6 inches of rain, brand new water in some of my empty dry tubs. Lot of rain. 6 inches of rain. I don't think it was. I think it was more like 2. But those tubs filled up 6 inches. Anyway, if the pond is 3 feet deep, that's 36 inches, and it rains 2 inches, that's 1/18. That's a little more than 5%. 2 inches of rain in a 3-foot pond is 5%. 10% water change every 6 to 8 hours, and you won't kill your fish. In point of fact, there's a little device. I was talking to a friend about it, Brightwell actually, the other day, that Merle Cohen had, and he demoed it around. Nobody picked up on it, and it's disappeared. But it was a water exchange, an automatic water exchange system that hooked up to a water line and just jetted water. It was a two hose system. I mentioned it to him. He said, yeah, he saw it. He saw it too. Merle demoed it to him as well. It put water in the tank in a jet, a tiny jet, and it took it out at the same rate. It changed water automatically, routinely, 10% a day. He measured it out. He put it in, he had it in goldfish tanks that were 100-gallon tanks. And he estimated it did 10 gallons a day, 10% a day. Need to find that device. That's just amazing. All right, where are we? Coolie loach. Coolie loaches are caught wild. They're not bred in captivity. So it's a question of them being located. And they are from India, I think. Where's the coolie loach from? I'm not going to look it up. Somebody else look it up. Yeah, well, let me get Blaze too, but get assassin snails and you'll never be overrun, says Mighty Mike. I have a better suggestion. Lassie too. Got overrun with snails once. If you get overrun with snails, there is one reason it happens, and one reason alone, and that is you are overfeeding your tank. Or you are feeding garbage to your fish. Same difference. Feeding very cheap food that has a lot of grain in it, a lot of flour, a lot of just worthless junk like cornmeal that are not digestible, or feeding way too much, or both, will cause snails to multiply in order to keep your tank from crashing. So if you've got a superabundance of snails, thank them for saving your sorry butt from killing all your fish. They are not your enemy, they are your friend. They are doing their level best to save you from your own ignorance. Yeah, use a filter to monitor overfeeding. Tank should be biowebbing itself. Crystal clean isn't always in the interest of fish. Absolutely right, Leo. Absolutely right. Sunset gouramis. My thoughts on sunset gouramis. If that's the one I'm thinking of, I'm going to have to look it up. Yes. No. No. Okay. What's the other one called? The orange. There are two different species of gourami here that pass for each other. It's kind of a problem. Lost myself. There we go. Gouramis. Some gouramis are pretty easy to breed and are not particularly aggressive. Other gouramis are almost impossible to, number one, get pairs, and number two, keep them alive. Same with some guppies, and the reason is they're infected with a virus that has completely captured the population, the bred population. There are virtually none in any populations being bred that do not have the virus. And so it's near about impossible to keep them alive for very long. Now, that's only some, that's not all. The smaller gouramis do just fine. And the larger gouramis, it's those 1.5 to 2 inch, very colorful gouramis that they're bred in Thailand mostly. They never ship females. You only get the males, so you can't spawn them anyway. And you're lucky if you can keep them alive for a month. And I've been through a lot of them. I finally got some that came off of a farm where a farmer had made a special effort to clean them up and to get some females shipped in. And he got them breeding and was able to pull pull the eggs out before the babies got infected and raise them in new water away from the parents. And he was able to get a strain going. I don't know if that strain is still available or not. You do not see a moss ball in a father fish tank, Mighty Mike. You do not. Let's see. Carlos Francisco Mena. Hello, Padre Pez. My previous question got deleted. Can you please tell me if I need to treat the mosquito larvae pupa I am collecting from my resurrection tank to give to my guppies? No, you do not. There's nothing you could treat them with. They're going to get gobbled up instantly. They will not last 10 seconds. Probably they won't last two seconds. And they are perfect food. They are an absolutely natural food for fish. So, not to worry about it. And Carlos needs a wrench. Ta-da-ta-da. Purple Jagger is here. Terry Skiles. Algae wafers, yes or no? Check the content. If they are spirulina or made of algae, they're okay. If they have cornmeal or any other kind of meal in them, they are not okay. Joseph Etheridge is in Norfolk. Leo Vaccaro, Spacey Bead. And long hair was cool. It's a lot easier to maintain short and shaved. Well, there is that. Caleb says feed leaves if you want to feed. Yeah, I gotta agree. Algae wafers are not 100% algae. No, they really aren't. And they really do produce a lot of waste. If you want to feed green leafy stuff to your plecos, try green leafy stuff. You know, like mustard greens or kale, like that. Or even squash. What are those things called? Andrew Vogan is going to dinner. Alex Account, if you want better bloodlines, Should you buy fish from 2 aquarium shops so you don't run the risk of interbreeding? Well, nice try, Alex, but no, because those 2 aquarium shops are in all likelihood buying from the same wholesaler. So you need to buy from hobbyists. Go on Aqua. Lord, I can't even think what it's called. Bioaquatics. Well, that's a breeder. Oh dear, my brain's gone. Get Gills. Go on Get Gills. You'll find various breeders on Get Gills. And buy from breeders. You have to have them shipped in. You're going to get better quality fish that'll be whole, healthy fish that'll come out of a healthy tank and not out of God knows what. And you'll stand a better chance of getting something that has been selectively bred. And if you want to mix populations, then just buy more from another breeder. Aquabid, I was trying to think of. Aquabid, or my brain is worthless. Get Gills. If a fish can swallow it, said fish will eat it. That's it. Mighty Mike, my own compost I use as potting soil. Yes, absolutely, Beverly, absolutely. Sharky, Robin Beasley, dried seaweed is perfect. Yes, dry seaweed. Spinach, yes, spinach. Broccoli or courgette, yes, yes. Doesn't need to be boiled. You can leave it raw. Frozen chopped spinach. Yes, yes, yes. Right. Robin Beasley. How did you sign up as a paid member? On the YouTube channel homepage. I think actually, can't you do it here? I think you can. Maybe not. Can you do it here? You can on the home page. There's a join button, but I believe you can in on any video if you scroll down below the video. You can also join Patreon. We do special videos, rough cut videos or uncut videos for all of our fancy spancy videos. We post the rough cut on Patreon every week. And we do some other fun stuff as well. But it's a way to be able to see Father Fish au natural without edit. Because it's sort of like well, it's not like this. It's sort of like a rant. It's like a 10 to 15 minute rant. And a lot of fun. I like it. Fumbleful, thimbleful. Super cheap and easy. That's right. You need a wrench, don't you? Yes. Did Father Fish say seaweed is good to feed freshwater fish? Yeah. It's fine. There's no salt in seaweed. Figure that one out. Unless it's added to it. it's rinsed off for one thing. The salt would be on the surface. It wouldn't be inside the plant. Next to subscribed. Yes, yes, that's right. Dried seaweed. Do those of you in green not get wrenches? Well, let's see. Let's try it and see. I think you keep the green, but also are a moderator. I think that's how that works. We're gonna know in a few minutes. Waterino from Russia. May I suggest an external microphone placed closer? You know, I bought $300 worth of microphones. I can get closer to this one if that'll help. I can get around. I can eat it probably. Yeah, I know. My problem with all of this technology is I easily get overwhelmed by it. If I have to make any kind of change, I lose my mind. That's why I am not doing Streamlabs because it makes me absolutely crazy. I cannot learn how to do it. Lurie is saying, I got to give wrenches to the new guys. I know. I'm trying. And the problem is, I give them a wrench and it takes 20 minutes for YouTube to get around to actually giving it to them. So it ain't all my fault. Thank you, Spiritual Saggy, Sagi, your fish indulgence. Dan the Delivery Man. Thanks, Father Fish, for the Tiger Lotus. My pygmy Corys love sitting on its leaves. I posted pictures on Discord. We need to give you a wrench stand. The Delivery Man. That's a wonderful plant. And it just gets so big. There's a trick. If you cut the leaves that go up to the top, keep them trimmed, it'll grow a beautiful leaf in the water. Raza Sharp International. Hi, Father Fish. Great to see ya. I was jogging at the park today after I picked up a couple handful of leaves. Came home and threw them in the aquarium. Looks great so far. Good job, Raza. The green goes away, but oh, really? I'll be darned. The green goes away, but the wrench is there. Son of a gun. Well, that'll know how I feel about it. How do you feel about that, Robin? Do you prefer to have a wrench like everybody else or be green like very few else's? Speak up. Speak up. Dan Pygmy Cory babies love banana leaves. I think it's the biofilm. I think you're right, Gary. Thomas Litchi. Chat GPT suggested making my own DIY fish food with spirulina and chlorella, kept together with gelatin. Is gelatin fine for my aquarium? Well, gelatin serves no function. It is not edible. It puts things in suspension, but then ultimately makes them less palatable. And I've heard from Weiss, who is the master of fish food, that it screws up the gut. So, no. Chat GPT gets a hammer for that one. I don't even know about the chlorella. And spirulina, there are a lot of breeders who don't much like spirulina. Now, I really don't know why. It's got more mineral content than virtually any other algae, but they claim it has no nutritional value. That may be because there's no protein, no fats, no solubles, nothing to build body with. It's pure mineral, which may be the problem with spirulina. Where's my leaf litter? It's in the back, actually. There is quite a lot in there, but it's a little hard to see. It kind of works its way to the back, and I think that's because there's some here. There's a little bit up front here. The fish are all they're in the front mostly, and I think they kind of swirl it toward the back, so it becomes hidden very quickly. But you can see a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. Some seed pods. I put a lot in. I keep putting it in. What gives oxygen to black water? Like in the Amazon, because no plants are growing in it. Want to make a biotype of the Rio Negro with lots of wood and leaf litter. Okay. Glad you asked this. You're going to be doing a fake blackwater tank, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. You're going to be releasing tannins in water that will remain relatively high pH. It'll hover probably around neutral. May go a little higher, may go a little lower. Rarely will it get down to 6.0. Which means that you'll be able to grow plants in it. The plants that grow best in low pH water are, oddly enough, the Aponogetans, the bulb plants. And that's because they live in forest rain pools or rain ponds that completely evaporate in the dry season, reduce them to their dry state, and when it rains, they explode in growth. But they're living in a very rich biosoil made up of huge volumes of tannins. So the water tends to be soft and acidic. Getting a natural blackwater tank, a biotope, below 6.0 is nearly impossible to do unless you are a pretty sophisticated aquarist. I only know one person who can do it consistently and dependably. He can get it down to 5, sometimes 4. He's never gotten it below that. And maintain it there. You can get it to 4 and maintain it. Now, there are fish, like the licorice gouramis, that require 4.0 pH in order to spawn, much less to stay alive. Your prior question about oxygen not being produced by plants, or algae for that matter, and certainly not by bacteria, what little there is an oxygen deprived environment in which oxygen exchange occurs at the surface with CO2 released and oxygen dissolved, but at a rate that maintains it at a fairly low level, such that the fish that live in those environments tend to be labyrinth fish. They tend to go to the surface to breathe. There tends not to be adequate oxygen in the water column for them. Gouramis of the type I've been describing, the licorice gouramis, for example, the chocolate gouramis, many of the umbellas, many of the the uh, the other species of bettas, um, and there are a lot of species of bettas. They live in an oxygen deprived environment in which they feed primarily on mosquito larvae, which are feeding on bacterial slime, and really not much else. Mayfly larvae, and some other insect larvae, but primarily insect larvae. Isn't gelatin just protein? I don't know. Gelatin is horse hooves. How does someone get a wrench? Someone gets noticed as being wrenchless. You now have a wrench. You may not see the wrench until YouTube gets around to giving it to you, but you are properly wrenched, as is Nicholas Dean, as is John Bronner. All three of you are now wrenched. Yeah, interesting. Blaze YouTube says Chat GBT uses frequency, not quality, when preparing an answer. So you get the most common info, not the best answer. I think, frankly, that's my problem with AI. It's the same thing with AI. I mean, granted, they're reading a lot of literature, so high literature, and a lot of it. I have a thought. I've got a couple of people thinking about this, and I think they're going to work on it. We're going to create a fatherfish AI and pump the thousands of hours of live streams into AI and create as vast a library, an AI fatherfish library as possible. So when I pass on, I'll still be around as artificial fatherfish. I think it's a fun idea. Sick Cory cat seems to have a swim bladder issue. That's odd. I don't believe Cory cats have swim bladders. My water parameters are normal, but alkalinity is high. Other fish seem healthy. What can I do? Well, I'll tell you what you need to do, Ralph. You need to get over on Fatherfish Shoal, where we can deal with this. As I said, I don't think Cory cats have fish bladders. I think they swim to the top, grab a bubble of air, and drop to the bottom. They stay on the bottom. They don't come halfway up unless they're swimming. They can't float, in other words. The way a fish normally can adjust its air bladder and be able to suspend at a given place. Catfish, catfish can't do that. The cats are fighting outside. But anyway, Ralph, you need to get over on Discord. I will post the channel one more time so we can help you deal with that and see what the problem is. I have a brown water tank. pH stays 6.8 to 8. Tap water's 8. You said you use tap water for top offs. So really don't expect my pH to go down. Well, if you want it to go down, you need to be using rainwater, distilled water, RO water, something like that. Something that's pH neutral. And then you need to be adding some kind of acetone. Not acetone, some kind of acid to the water to get it really low. And then you're going to kill all your fish. So there's that. I water my plants when I do water changes. That water works right for my plants. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And it's okay to do that. 10%, 10%. Lucky dog says, love you, Vedic. Lucky dog gets a wrench. You lucky dog. West Virginia Hollow Girl. Hello, hello. Spacey. Artificial. It's an FISH. Gamer 1. Lazar. Time goes too fast. Well, we got half an hour yet. Never pass on. Never pass on. Don't plan to. No time soon, Lazar. I've been de-aging. I had a friend tell me lately. He said, you're de-aging. You're younger now than you were when you left Florida. And actually, physically, that's true. I'm healthier. I've lost 25 pounds. I'm more energetic. I've got more muscle mass. Not that it's great, mind you, but it's better. And I'm working on making it better. So I am de-aging. I got my own med bed program for those of you in the know. Aaron, thanks for making me a mod. Much love for the Father Fish Show. It is a joy. Adam McReynolds. Hello, Adam. Give Adam a wrench. Will floating plants provide oxygen too? Absolutely they will. Yes, indeed. Can you feed earthworms? Absolutely you can. Earthworms are a fantastic fish food, particularly for larger fish. Earthworms, even red wigglers. I've heard it said that red wigglers can cause impaction. Frankly, I don't believe it, but I never feed much in the way of red wigglers anyway. I prefer feeding earthworms. They're bigger and more fun. Can you keep a shark with a flounder? If they're both big enough that the shark's not going to attack the flounder, sure you can. What's your take on old tank syndrome? MNC Aquatic. Good question, MNC. I have terminal cases of old tank syndrome. Here's one right here. The last water change in this tank was when I moved here June a year ago. Prior to that, it was a year and a half before that when I moved the tank from my shop to my home. Prior to that, it was 10 years before, well, no. I had a crash and I did a 50% water change. Didn't need to, but I panicked. Prior to that, it was 5 years when I moved the tank into the shop. Or 10 years, I guess. How do you keep the leaves from choking out your plants? Push them to the bottom. Belated birthday wishes, says Kenny D. Hope you're well and healthy. Wishing you and yours peace, love, and light blessings. Health to you and to you too, Kenneth D. Delighted to hear from you. Yes, I was 83 on Thursday, and I got a pocket watch from my niece who works with me. She's the one who helps me pack out all the plants. And we're doing approximately 100 a week, packing out 100 shipments a week, which is a bit of a chore. And we're looking for help. We need some local help. What else is here? Dooby-doo. Ralph. I thought it was a mistake I had the moderator role. Do you just prefer the color blue? No, it's more than that, Ralph. I prefer everybody to be a mod. That way, if anybody gets in line, everybody else is going to jump on them. And it happens that way. Rarely, but it does happen that way. So that's why. It also is a kind of a membership thing where anybody new coming in gets to join the club by getting a wrench. So it's like that. Your fishy indulgence. I refuse to let my search engines use the AI. As of now, we still have that choice. Yeah, AI is interesting. I use it occasionally when I'm looking for creative ways to do a title or rewrite an idea. And it's usually pretty literate. I don't really have a problem with it. It's better grammar than much of what passes for grammar. My issue with AI is that it's got an incorrect name. It's not artificial intelligence. It's not any kind of intelligence. It's a library. It's a computerized library that is able to move very fast and select from and perform like a million functions in a millionth of a second. So it's super duper fast, and can process virtually instantaneously across an enormously broad range of detailed information. So it's a good way to get, if the body of information it's drawing from is vast enough and it's constantly increasing, then you can get some pretty good information. Try asking it to describe father fish. That should be interesting. I haven't had the nerve to do it yet. Lawyers try to get AI to write their brief in the AI made up case law that didn't exist. Well, and it probably found it from lawyers who created it, because it doesn't make stuff up out of whole cloth. It can't do that. That's the thing. It's not intelligent. It doesn't make value choices. It may choose one thing over another based on its commonality or common usage, but it does not think. It does not process. A human brain processes and makes decisions based on a minimum of information. It's the nature of the brain. A computer, an AI, makes decisions based on a maximum of information. It cannot make a decision based on inadequate information. It will always return a null response because there is inadequate information to source from. Whereas the human brain doesn't operate that way. The human brain gets just enough information to make a leap. And that leap is better and better and better as the mind becomes more and more well developed and more sophisticated in its ability to make those leaps. Now that's a simple way of understanding the difference, but it's a pretty basic difference. And the two are not in any way comparable. So don't think of AI as somehow taking over the function of the human brain. That's ridiculous on its face. It is not a brain. It is a didactic computer device. It's a system of logic based on a plethora, a vast amount of information. Information approaching infinitude. That may in point of fact give you a better solution, but it will not give you a human solution. So the AI will never replace human thought because it's incapable of human thought. Enough of that. A better simulation than sci-fi. Got a pun out of better. Well, that's good. A beta better. Right. A beta better. I hear a catfish. They do talk. Paulo Henrique Pixiera. Hello, Father Fish. I am Paulo Henrique from Brazil. I send email to you about costs to make the supplement. Wonderful, Paulo. Look forward to that. You need to get over on Discord. That's where we are coordinating all of this. And I just talked to my techie today, and he said we will be able to set up distributors in other countries on our home Shopify. So we'll be able to get the links to you, the orders to you through Shopify. You will have access to your Shopify channel, and you'll be able to get the orders and deal with the orders. You'll get the money and so forth. So we're getting set up. We're currently in Canada, the UK, the EU, working on Australia, working on India, now Brazil, looking for Israel and its environs, need South Africa, the Philippines, Indonesia, those are the main ones right now. Basically what we're selling, oh, excuse me, is the supplement. Waterino, can dead fish drop the pH level? Can dead fish drop the... That's a good question. Can dead fish drop the pH level? Well, let's see. They create a a bacteria bloom. The bacteria can deplete the oxygen. Will they drain carbonates is the question. And I think the answer is no. Somebody's going to need to check me out on that. But I don't think dead fish reduce carbonates. Water parameters went to pH 5.4 from 7. So you had, if you were at 7, you had very low carbonates. In that case, it may be possible because you really you have an environment that is kind of anti-car. It's an acidic environment. You've got an acidic environment, and extensive biological activity can increase acidity. So I guess in that case they could. Interesting. We need to look into this a little more. It's a really, really good question. Waterino, freshwater stingray died. They're some kind of hard to keep. Some kind of hard to keep. Well, oh my word. Ah, sorry about that. That's a scream. Ah, ah. How did that happen? Oh dear. Hid my face with the mic, I did. Cookie VR and Pink VR. We need to give you guys friendships. Add a moderator. 55-gallon, 4-year-old tank with an additional 2 to 3 inch sand cap. How many leaves per week would you recommend? It's impossible to know. It really is a function of the rate at which they're being consumed and the type of leaves they are. Because different types of leaves get consumed at different rates. And even the same leaf will get consumed at different rates based on the amount of choppers and other microfauna that are in the food web. So I can't really answer your question. What I can say is the more resurrection jar material you add, the more leaves will be able to be consumed. If you have no leaves, do the microfauna die? Not entirely. They will. They will. They don't live a long time. They multiply rather quickly and they die rather quickly. They will remain there in smaller quantities because there will always be food for them. I mean, there's always fish waste, other plant waste. Got phlegm in my throat. And so they're going to be there, which is why when you then add more leaves, it'll bolster the population. It'll increase the population. The calculator. No, I'm not sick. I've got phlegm in my throat. Because I haven't drunk anything. Lord, I don't think I've drunk anything all day. Is that true? I drank a glass of tea at lunch. I had a cup of tea that I started this morning. I haven't drunk anything all day. Huh. I'm probably dehydrated. That probably is why the phlegm. Alright, we'll get something to drink here. Lito says, I'm a believer in your method. I run into skeptics and doubters who resist any orthodoxy. I think what they're resisting, it's interesting you put it that way. I think they are insisting upon their own orthodoxy. I think they are in a true believer mode and are to unwilling to accept the possibility of other options and are defensive about what they do. Now, I find it really interesting that the people who are most defensive about protecting their approach from any incursion by the nature people, the natural tank people, are themselves in serious trouble and they know it. But they refuse to admit it because, frankly, they've got too much ego. And they're the ones who are forever complaining about all of the nature people, all of the natural tank people, fatherfish in particular, for being so dogmatic. And I'm not dogmatic. Now, am I? I do what I do. I know what I do. I understand what I do. I teach what I do. That's what I do. Nobody has to do it. If you do it, you're going to learn a lot that you don't already know. Or maybe you've figured it out for yourself. There are those who have. I'm not the only fish in the pond. But those who refuse, flatly refuse, to even consider the possibility are themselves dogmatists and are locked into a system that they are struggling to maintain because they don't want to admit they've been wrong forever. Does that make sense? And a few people in particular come to mind, whose names I will not mention. That was like confession, Bert says. All right, where are we going here? Is your system great for nano shrimp? Nano shrimp. I don't know a lot about shrimp. Nano. What do you mean by nano shrimp? Lito, what are you talking about? Give me a little more information there. Press alpha, you're going to get banned. You keep that up. Paulo, do cardinal neons live well in your alkaline water systems because they like more acidic water? Well, yeah, here we go. The cardinal has been bred in captivity for probably 20 years now in primarily Florida water, which is hard alkaline water. So they have adapted, much as has the angel, to hard alkaline water. And if you put them in soft acid water, they will die. There are very few fish that require an absolute pH, whatever it is. Most fish live in water where the pH varies and can vary substantially. In the Amazon, the pH can go from 6.0 to 8.0 in a period of a year. Rainwater can drop to 6.0. Dry season water in the rivers can go to 8.0. And the fish survive that. Doesn't happen instantly, it happens gradually over a period of time, and they adapt to it. And they're used to adapting to that. So they can adapt. You can acclimate. It takes a while. You're not going to acclimate a fish in an hour. It takes a minimum of 3 days to acclimate a fish from 8.0 to 6.0. 6.0 to 8.0, they'll do it in 30 seconds or 2. But if you're going from alkaline to acid, you need to go slow or you're going to kill the fish. And it's because of the pressure, the barometric pressure of the water. High pH is heavier water. A low pH is lighter water. The effect of that is to compress the cell structure or cause the cell structure to expand. So if you take a fish that's in hard alkaline water, you throw it in hard acid water, its cell structure just expands like this so fast that it tears, it ruptures. And you can actually see the fish bleeding. It'll bleed from the gills or from the fins, actually, from the root of the fin first. And then it'll bleed from the gill, and then it'll bleed from the eye, and then it'll die. And it can happen very quickly. It can happen slowly, it can happen quickly. Learned Leto. Where is Leto's earlier comment? Yeah, I need to get some fluids. Gotta agree. Where's Leto's earlier comment? Get one of your boys to get you a Gatorade. I don't have any boys here. I'm here by myself. Here alone. Cricket Spark. Need to give you a wrench. David Anate. Let's see. Confession flashbacks. Interesting. Learn from an old tropical fish store guy. He can raise thousands of guppies and angels, including bristlenose plecos. I'm sorry, I've lost track of the source of that comment, Leto. I just don't remember what it had to do with. Was it pH? A pH issue? I lost track of it. Sorry. Post it again if you want. I may see it. Will adding too many leaves too quickly cause a nitrate spike? No, it could cause a bacteria spike though, which is the more dangerous problem. A nitrate spike won't hurt anything, but if you put too many leaves in, particularly um, resurrection jar leaves, wet leaves, if you load it up, the deterioration will be out of control for the amount of water that they're in, and it'll foul the water. So you kind of got to go slow. Oh, wouldn't that be wonderful? Crystal clear. Love to see Father Fish Aquarium set up in grade schools. You bet. Go so hard auto. Robin not really looking for a calculation. Yeah, I didn't see that calculation comment earlier. There is a calculator that was developed by some guys on the Discord channel. Question was, in a 2-inch deep garden soil with a 2 or 6-inch sand cap, at what depth should the plants be planted? Pros and cons of a 2-inch sand. Halfway down, and 2-inch sand for 1-inch dirt. You want to double the sand for the amount of dirt. And the reason is the dirt rises up in the sand, and it'll come up equal to a distance equal to its depth. If it's 1 inch of dirt, it'll come up an inch. So you need 2 inches to keep it from being exposed to the water. Montreux 232 says, preach. I do. Oh, I did a sermon this morning, which will be posted probably tomorrow. I've asked Dead Man's Will to put it up. It's interesting because it's a cultural commentary. So there'll be some people who love it and people who hate it. Fluorite instead of iron. I think that works fine. I need to get to the bottom of this. We got 5 minutes left and I'm not close. Okay, I'm working on it here. I have a rainbow fish fried that hits the right on the plant. How long should I leave the fry in the jar? Well, until it's big enough. Leave it in there. It's gonna be delighted. In fact, you might put a few more in there. It came in as an egg because the eggs are sticky. They attach to plants. So there probably is more than one. But you can put more in. That's a great way to be able to raise baby fish. Have I kept fiddler crabs? I have. Fiddler crabs are a little tricky because you got to have water at the bottom of the burrow. So you have to have a bank coming up out of the water with a water level halfway. And then they burrow down into the water, and that's where they lay their eggs, in the water. And of course, it needs to be salt water. And then they'll come up. They feed on the surface, but they hide in the burrow. But the burrow's got to be deep enough that they can get down into the water. Well dirt. Gary's going to use well dirt. Sounds perfect to me. How are you going to get down the well to get it? Can you overfeed live foods? No. That's a really good one. Can you overfeed live foods? With anything, you can foul the water. I mean, it's always possible to do that, but realistically, I don't think you can overfeed on microworms. Unless you're just taking the whole thing and dumping it in there. The whole culture. That would do it. Good way to replant the tank when the plants died off. Some are still okay. All the bacopa died. But you probably need more light. Duplicate the ones that survive. Get more of those. And give the tank a chance to develop. It will develop the ability to be able to grow other kinds of plants. It's at a starting point, and you need to give it a lot of encouragement in the form of plants that can do well in that environment. And then as it does that, it adds more enrichment to the substrate, which allows a wider diversity of plants to grow. It's like a forest. A forest takes hundreds of years to become a climax forest. And it goes through a wide range of growth of different kinds of plants to get to that climax stage. Any books ready? No, but we're getting close. We are getting close. The first book will be ready when it is ready. It'll be on sale as a PDF on our Shopify, on our store. Kinds of leaves do you recommend? That'll be in the book too. Ash and oak, maple, any kind of fruit leaf, fruit tree or nut tree, hickory, apple, any of those kinds of leaves. But they must be brown dry leaves, yes. Or brown dry leaves coming out of water where you will get the culture that you need in order to be able to feed on them. So it's really both. Do not pick trees off a leaf. Do not pick leaves off a tree. That will foul your tank because all of the sugars will still be in the leaf. That leaf needs to be dead on the tree before it falls to the ground. The tree needs to have sucked all the sap out of it and brought it back down into the trunk. That's why they fall. Brine shrimp will die. Yes, brine shrimp will die. Yeah, I think I'm at the bottom. Brine shrimp need hypersaline conditions. Absolutely right. Yeah, grass. I have caught glass shrimp. Ooh, excuse me. Oh, glass shrimp are, yeah, okay. He's distinguishing between ghost shrimp and glass shrimp. I found ghost shrimp in both fresh and salt. Never found glass shrimp in fresh. If I ever had an eel, I've had a lot of eel. Yep, all kinds of eel. I like eel. I had a little tiny eel here somewhere recently. Don't remember what happened to it. Disappeared. Hydrilla, yes, I have experience planting hydrilla. It's a lovely plant. Absolutely beautiful plant. I love hydrilla. When I lived in Florida, I could occasionally find it in streams. One stream in particular, Horse Creek, was called Horse Creek Stream. And I found hydrilla there. It is verboten in Florida. I had some in a tank, and it did really well. I had to eventually get rid of it when a friend of mine from the Forestry Service came to visit. And he pulled it out of my tank. He did. Lito, I had pear trees, an orange tree, plus lots of hardwood. You bet. Put them in the pond for aging. Absolutely. How important are diatomaceous earth and mycorrhizal fungi to make the supplement? They're not critical. They are not critical. I've always used diatomaceous earth, mainly because I thought it had calcium until I discovered that no, it doesn't. It's a fossil. Fossils lost their calcium eons ago, but it does have some other benefits, as does mycorrhizal fungi, but they are not critical. What are the simplest supplements for dirter tanks? Blood meal, bone meal, baking soda, some kind of iron oxide if you can get it. What else? I've got 11 different items. Those are really the critical ones. I like to use humus and I like to use worm castings. Can you ever feed live foods? I would say no. I would say it's highly unlikely. Sparkling gourami, nice little fish. Beer oil, nice fish. Okay, we have run out of time here, guys. Brackish is fine. Do brackish. I got a brackish tank here, and I'm looking forward to getting out. I bought a boat so I could get out into the bay and catch more brackish stuff. There's a lot of very cool brackish stuff. Can I put a turtle in a bare bottom tank? Sure you can. Why you would want to is beyond me, but you certainly can. And thank you for the £2, whatever that is, donation. The EURs, the €2 super chat, right? All right, here we go. Use water hyacinth in catfish pond. That's pretty cool. Water hyacinth is wonderful in a pond. Check this ish out. Where can I get live food for baby guppies? We've been talking about it. Go out to your local ditch, pond, creek, river, bay, whatever. Collect some rotting leaves and put them in your tank, or put them in a jar before you put them in a tank if you're too chicken to do it. All right. Love you guys. Zombie Unicorn. Get you a wrench real quick. Ta-da. And Paulo. Please leave this live saved here on YouTube. Oh, it'll be there. It'll be there. Do I move them? I don't think I do. It'll be there for at least a month. Okay, we're going to go now. Love you all. Bye for now.